Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Nuggets of Wisdom. My name is Empress Pamela, and in this series, I am sharing with you some of my artwork, my mandala art. What else? And notes that I've taken over the past, oh gosh, 20 years. I haven't told this story in a long time, but um, over the years, I acquired, I don't know, many different notebooks, diaries, blah, blah, blah. Things that I've written down, courses I've taken, notes I've taken, um, pre spiritual awakening, post spiritual awakening. And back in 2021, from January through April 2021, I went on a what do you call it? I guess a spiritual seclusion where I basically left my family and went into seclusion for 3 months at the beach during the winter by myself in a little studio apartment to heal. And so I'm at the point in my notes where I talk about different strategies for healing, body, mind, soul. And again, this is an amalgamation, a compilation of notes I've taken through books I've read, videos I've watched, courses I've taken, webinars, free webinars. At one time, I was a member of Gaia. I was a member of Solvana, which was a subsidiary of Mind Valley, which offers a lot of different courses on healing, manifestation, meditation. So I've talked a lot about all the information, knowledge that I've acquired. Again, once you are in the midst of your awakening, you realize you know nothing, and as you acquire information, you still know nothing, but you've gathered some little nuggets. So, nuggets of wisdom. And it is my honor and duty to share information with you to help you on your journey. I know that a lot of the times, especially during the dark night of the soul, you feel you're on an island alone and it is dark and no one understands you and no one can help you. And you do realize that you come in this world alone and you leave alone, and that people come to your life for a reason, usually a lesson. Sometimes the lesson takes many years to learn. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Usually, mostly, I would say, I don't know, a high percentage of my videos are unscripted. So, and I don't edit my videos. So whatever I say is meant to be said. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. Healing. Overcome imposter syndrome. So, some of the wounds I'll be talking about are my own personal wounds, but again, we're not alone. Some of you out there may have same or similar wounding. Overcome imposter syndrome. I feel like that has been a theme in my life. I'm 60 this year, and when I'm recording this, October 9th, 2025. I am 60 years old, and one of the themes in my life has been imposter syndrome. I think it comes back to not having the support and encouragement and the recognition from my parents who were involved in their own toxicity. I am the daughter of an alcoholic father So I do have father wounds, but I also realize I have mother wounds, and I am dealing with my mother who's 85 and has Alzheimer's dementia, and I'm one of her caregivers. And to be a caregiver of an elderly parent is very difficult. And then you add on childhood wounding to that, and you become triggered and exhausted and energetically depleted very quickly. So, yeah, that's what I've been dealing with more intensely in the last, oh, I would say 6 months, because I had to take on more intense activities of daily living for her, like bathing and all that kind of stuff, and being her housekeeper, which I don't even keep my own house. I'm doing her laundry right now as we speak. So there's a lot of resentment that builds up too. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And I've been on this healing journey for 10 years, and now it's like this wound is really in the forefront. And I'm exhausted. And this is my time out to record my videos. So I'm taking time for my own time, and it's to work on some of my own stuff. And then I still talking about my mother, and I feel guilty because I'm not there at her beck and call. And as I use some of this terminology, you could see how the resentment is building. Okay. Anyway, wow. Okay. And doing these videos, it seems that it helps me get this off my chest, which if we know anything, when we keep our feelings inside and hide our emotions, they build up over the years and becomes disease in our body. That's my belief, and that's my understanding. And if you don't know, I've had cancer, was diagnosed with cancer in 2021, 4 years ago. So I've been on a healing journey from cancer too. Let's just add that in the mix, right? Okay, healing. So this video is going to be talking about healing, and I'm going to share with you my notes. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. And speaking of when you're faced with a diagnosis, fear to lose, like fear of death, fear of losing your life. That was a big theme in my life too, fear of death. I remember as a kid, I would think about, when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, I would just automatically think, oh my God, one day I'm not going to be here. What's going to happen? It was just like fear of death. I would become paralyzed. And that has been a fear of mine my entire life. And then something, as a mother, I noticed my youngest exhibited the same behavior and fear of death when he was about the same age, and that just triggered me. It's been a weird thing, but yeah, so I still fear death, but I have hope that the belief that we are spiritual beings and we just go to a different plane of existence. I don't know if that's what I really don't know what I believe, but I have more hope that there's something more to it. Okay? Does that make sense? I don't know. And usually in these videos, I'm going to speak until the time runs out, which is about 30 minutes. So I'm not worried too much about how many notes I get through. I have quite a stack full of notes on healing. So you're going to see, I would say, at least 4 different videos on healing. And this is the first one. Okay, so train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. I think also that is saying be more mindful, be more present, live in the present moment. Appreciate each day that you wake up and can smell the coffee and see the beautiful blue sky and hear the birds and just live in the moment. Relax, release the block, be curious, witness, release. I think that has something to do with being mindful, being present. I want to say something, I've been so anxious about applying for long term care Medicaid for my mother to go into a nursing home for memory care because she has Alzheimer's dementia. And it's becoming more and more evident, especially after her two falls in the past couple months, that she's going to need care beyond the scope of what me and my husband and my family can provide. So it's kind of like, and I've been grappling with the guilt, I think, for not being able to service her needs and be knowledgeable enough and to have enough energy to do it. So there's a whole bunch of emotional attachments that I have in taking these steps to help my mother. But I need to just kind of relax, go with the flow, release the guilt, and just understand like this is in her best interest. And you can take that with anything in your life. To just kind of relax, release the block, be curious about why. I'm curious about why I keep procrastinating and not being able to do the application, other than it being cumbersome and intimidating. There's emotional reasons why, So be curious about it, witness your feelings and then kind of release. So I think the guilt part, I've worked up to where I've released, and I've been to the point, like the other day was a big step for me to actually go to the website and look at how to do it and what my options are. It's been like a step-by-step process. Okay. Come into deeper alignment within me. Stay curious, open. I think kind of at the beginning of our healing journey, we're triggered and we don't even know the word trigger, but I hear a lot more people saying trigger, but we react to certain things and we could be thinking, why did I react? Why can't I control my feelings? I thought I was healed. And then we realize, wow, okay, I reacted this way. Someone said something. Why did that happen? Why did I react? And we start like getting in the analysis mode and almost act like our own therapist. And we're asking ourselves questions about what was said or what was done that caused us to react a certain way. And so we're curious. We're asking the questions about what is it? What was, maybe it was a word, it was an action, it was something that made us feel a certain way within us. So staying curious about your own healing journey. Why, after 10 years of healing, I can't believe I reacted that way. And then you start beating yourself up for not being quote unquote healed. But if you kind of don't beat yourself up and just stay curious and stay open to, okay, well, I still need to work on this, that, or the other, or maybe I haven't quite accepted my shadow, I don't want to say our dark side, but some of the things like, I can be manipulative, and I know that and I understand that about myself and I admit it. That's one of my shadows. Okay. Desire to be victorious. Yes, we want to be better. We want to be our best selves. Um, we want to improve. We want to be able to improve, accept, move on quicker, and not just fall into the hole of despair, shame, any of the lower vibrational emotions that we used to be stuck in, could be stuck in for months or even years, like depression and that kind of stuff. But we have now tools to help us get out of it quicker, like letting go and relaxing and staying curious. So we want to be our best selves, desire to be victorious. And by victorious, maybe if we define it as being the best version of ourselves, but also meeting our higher self. Does that make sense? Meeting our higher self, being the highest and best version of ourselves, being in tune with our higher self, that might be considered, in my mind, more of a victory. She who instigates leadership, she who enfolds, she who is present, she who yearns. So, again, being mindful, being present. She who yearns, you yearn to be your best and highest version. She who stands resolute, impeccable, determined. Yep. Okay. Relaxation. Manifestation and awareness are heightened. Learn to relax at a deep level. Releasing layers of tension in my being, mental, emotional, physical. That whole thing reminds me of when at the beginning, not really at the beginning, I want to say what year, it was probably pre-COVID. So I guess towards the beginning of my journey, I got into Reiki crystal healing. I went to a Reiki crystal healer. She used crystals on my chakras. I started learning about chakras, learning about crystals, and that was kind of at the beginning of my journey. And I do have a series called You Need This Crystal. I really got into crystals and I have a nice collection. But learning to relax, releasing layers of tension, that was part of my healing was Reiki. And then I actually got to the point where I got my Reiki 1 certification or whatever they call it. Yeah, I took a class and got the Reiki 1. Um, but yeah, that was one way that I learned to release layers of and to release the blockages in my chakras and that kind of thing. That helped. That certainly helped. And to have a healer help release the energy that was stored there. It was very cathartic. Healing and assistance. Okay. Oh, here's some uh, different ways. Number 1, heal blockages. We just talked about that. 2, crystal. 3, Reiki. 4, tarot. Well, tarot, that's a whole big thing. Tarot can actually prolong, I want to say, the attachments and the wounding if you're not careful. Chakra healing. Number 6, alignment with source. I feel like that's done through meditation and connection in nature. 7, past life. Well, that came up in a quantum hypnosis healing session that I did. 8, forgive and release. That's part of the healing. For me, number 9, swimming. There was a period of time, shoot, when was it? I want to say 2018, I started the keto diet. So I started making physical changes in my lifestyle as far as nutrition. Oh, less than a week after starting keto and getting more energy and feeling like I could conquer the world, actually, I started doing swimming. I had a buddy who went with me. We built up to like twice a week. We did hydro Pilates. I started going at least 2 times a week until COVID. So for over a year, I was doing all different kinds of classes, and then got to the point where I was so feeling so good about myself. I had lost some weight. It wasn't really about the weight; it was about gaining strength and energy from keto and doing the swimming. And I did chose swimming because it was less stressful on my joints and arthritis in my knees and shit. So swimming was my choice and I enjoyed it. I actually was challenging my older son, who was a really good swimmer, swimming laps against him. I was like, wow. So at the time, so 10 years ago, I was 50, let's just say. And I was swimming against my 28-year-old son or whatever. It was fun. I was really good back then. I would love to get back to that feeling and that amount of energy and confidence too. Number two, strength. So working out, strength training, perhaps, um, Pilates, yoga, weight training, strength training. I've always wanted to do yoga. I've been more into the stretching part of it. I've signed up for courses on yoga. I think it's still on my bucket list to learn and practice yoga. And then I wrote down Pilates. My Hydro Pilates teacher actually opened a Pilates studio, and I did a session with her, and that's really a fantastic workout. And that will help heal and release your blockages, physical. Because it all works together: body, mind, spirit, mental, emotional, physical. Okay, self appreciation. How to increase self appreciation. One, pamper yourself frequently. I would say, especially what I've learned in this journey with my mom and not having, and the energy getting so depleted, not just physically, but emotionally draining, because when you have wounds with your parent and then you have to care for them, and then with dementia and Alzheimer's, a different personality you're dealing with, and basically everything you're doing becomes unrecognized by that person because they can't remember. So you're doing all this and you're basically dealing with someone who's, I want to say, ungrateful, but they don't remember, so they can't appreciate, and they don't remember, so they can't acknowledge all that you're doing for them. And for me, since I have this mother wound where I never got what I really needed as far as support, encouragement, and guidance from my mother, it is festering. The wound is festering. I could just see like an unhealed wound not being able to scab over. Wow, that's gross. But anyway, how to increase self appreciation? Well, I got to put myself first. So I work on my art. I record my videos. I do things for me and try to put myself first so that I can refill my well and not try to keep, going from an empty well, like, or not being in the right mindset when I have to care for her. That's knowing I can't do it and then asking for support like asking my husband to step in for me on those days that I just can't mentally handle it. So asking for help is a big step. Normally I don't want to do that, but I have to. I've learned I can't pour from an empty well. Okay, self-appreciation. Pamper frequently. Put yourself first if you need to go. I think it's beyond getting your mani-pedi, but of course, you've got to treat yourself well, whatever that encompasses. Take your baths, take your Epsom salt spiritual baths. Um, buy yourself a dozen roses. Love yourself. Affirmations. I recorded a really nice video today for October 9th. Affirmations. It's like 7 minutes long. Really nice affirmations. And when I record these videos and I speak it out loud, it is me speaking to myself and speaking the affirmations out loud. So I benefit from it. Number 3, feeding the soul. Well, I want to say proper nutrition, listening to what your body needs. If your body, there's certain things like for me, spinach, tuna fish. Sometimes I get cravings for either of those two, and I think it means my body is lacking whatever nutrients those two items have. And also, like, when you go out to a restaurant, order something that you wouldn't normally cook at home. Like, so for me, I don't really like to cook fish at home because it stinks up the house. So if I go out, I want to order the salmon or get the shrimp or whatever, feeding your soul. I went on vacation recently and I had places that I like to go and items that I like to get. So for me, I had a really good time with my older son, Justin. We went just for a couple days, but we both needed it. And I said, would you mind if we stopped at Michael's seafood restaurant? Because I love their seafood chowder. Plus, it's like voted #1 chowder or whatever. And it just was so soothing. I really felt like I was feeding my soul. That's an example. But yeah, that could be like reading a good book or listening to music that feeds your soul. Number 4, another way to show self-appreciation. Love your entire being, your light and your shadow. Yeah, like I said, I know I'm manipulative and I've accepted it. But also loving your physical self, no matter what weight you are at this very moment, I still love myself. I love my brain because that doesn't change as much as my body weight. Number 5, express my love and kindness spontaneously to others. Yes, I always enjoy telling those I love that I love them. When the feeling comes up, I say it. Number 6, meditate frequently to get in touch with my body and soul. I did it this morning outside with the sun on my face. It was glorious. I need to do that more frequently. Self-esteem, focus on a healthy life. Nutrition, yes. Exercise, success, fulfillment. I want to say goals or things that you want to do for yourself, like creativity, putting aside the time to have a creative outlet. I think people need to allow for creativity more frequently. Number 2, pursue your passion. Yeah, if it's a creative outlet, go for it. Number 3, invest in imagination. Again, that goes with creativity. Oh my God. Number 4, creative outlets without guilt. Yeah, painting and doing your stuff and not feeling guilty about taking the time to do it. Oh my God. Number 5, follow life path 3. So I'm a life path 3. My birth date is the 21st. 2 + 1 is 3. The communicator, creative self-expression, emotional sensitivity, joy, inspired communication. I would say get into numerology, find out your life path, And maybe there's some nuggets that will help you, direct you to increase your self esteem. Energy healing, Reiki, Mahi Kari, don't know what that is, spiritualist. Release spiritual blocks, don't fight against them. Witness them, be curious about them. Inner workings, soul wants to come into deeper alignment. Deeper alignment, stay curious and open about what is going on with me. Again, being aware of your triggers, acknowledging them, and then being curious about what is it exactly, and then just, I would say, journaling, writing about it, being honest, free flowing, relying on your intuition. If the answer comes up, write it down. I mean, don't shy away, don't talk yourself out of it. Being in touch with your intuition, I think, is helpful. I think writing things down is helpful, to get it off your chest. Write your dreams down. Yeah, writing, creative expression, acknowledgement, all of these are important tools. I'll see you in the next one. Healing part 2. It's you and me, baby, on this beautiful journey.